Hi everyone, this is Lynn from Yoga Story, and today I'm going to lead you through a 30-minute flow that is going to be focused on some hip openers, and it's going to be a flow class. So you are going to work, we're going to have some active openers, and then we're going to have more passive hip openers. So all you'll need today is a mat. If you are tight in the hips though, I would suggest grabbing a block for some elevation, either for the hands or for your glutes. If we do half pigeon, we'll just see where this flow takes me today. I don't have anything planned out. I'm just going to move my body, and I hope you guys will join me and move your body too. Start in an easy seated position with your right ankle crossed over your left. Sit up nice and tall on the sitting bones. Inhale your hands up, and then exhale, walk your fingertips forward. It's just the easy hip opener, and it's okay if it feels hard for you. Everybody's hips have varying degrees of tightness depending on how your bone structure is and how your muscle mass is. So walk your hands back up, and then take a twist to your right. And then back to center. Let's switch the ankle left in front this time. Sit up nice and tall on those two bones in your butt, and then walk your fingertips forward. Walk yourself back, and then take a twist to the left. So just because your hips might feel a little tight does not make your hips wrong. And just because your hips are loose, maybe you don't feel a lot of sensation in hip openers, doesn't make your hips better, okay? There's a little balance in between those two that we want to achieve. So if you have trouble feeling sensation in hip opening poses, or in any pose that is supposed to be an opening type of pose, then I would suggest you take more of an active presence in those poses. And if you feel tighter in those poses, then allow yourself to release in more of a passive approach to those poses. Now we're going to go downward facing dog. Let's get right into it. Pedal the feet, lift your hips high, and then heels down towards the ground. And again, it's okay if they don't touch. Bend through the knees, pull the belly in, step or lightly hop to the top, halfway lift, breathe in, fold forward, breathe out. Reach up to the ceiling, maybe a tiny bit of a back bend, fold forward, hinge from the hips, halfway lift. High plank for breath in, low plank, bend the elbows, hug your ribs, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Two more of those. Sun salutation A, bend through the knees, step hopper, jump to the top, halfway lift, breathe in, fold forward, breathe out, rise up, reach for the ceiling, fold at the hips, exhale the breath out, halfway lift. Chaturanga, high plank, low plank, step or hop, upward facing dog. Strong arms, strong legs, downward facing dog, strong core. Bend through the knees, step or float to the top, halfway lift. Fold forward, reach high, fold deep. Last one, halfway lift. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And staying here, step your right foot between your hands. Bring the hand to the inside of the right foot. Walk the right foot a little bit wider. Rock back and forth. Maybe make some circles. And lift that sitting bone up and around like you're making a circle with the bone. Little bit of a twerky action here. All right, now step it back, high plank, low plank, up dog, down dog. Let's do the left side, step it between the hands, then shift the left hand to the inside, shift the left foot to the outside. Make some circles here. So it's this bone in the butt right here that we're wanting to circle around. Feel a little opening there. Step back to high plank, breathe in, lower on your exhale, up dog. Tighten the abs, strong arms, downward facing dog. Bend through the knees, step hopper, float lightly to the top of the mat. Chair pose, come straight into it. Lift all 10 toes, flare them out. Press through the heels, down and out. Pull the belly in, lengthen the arms, soften the shoulders. Breathe in, forward fold, exhale. Step the left foot back, low lunge. Heel toe that right foot forward a little bit more, bend. Lift slightly through the left hip edge and lift your right hand. Spin around, warrior two, back foot flat. Press evenly through the feet, but squeeze these inner thighs together. That gives our hips some activation and security in the pose. It's a very strong pose. And windmill the hands down, back into that lizard lunge. Heel toe your right foot out. Rock forwards and backwards. Make some space on that left side because we're going to take the toes up into Malasana squat. Again, this is where a block is helpful for tight hips or heels. Not everybody's ankles bend this way, and that's okay. Breathe. Bring the hands down, hips high. Heel toe in just a few inches. Keep some space between the feet. King chair, or just a regular little squatty squat. Get down nice and low, reach the fingertips forward, hover the chest on top of the thighs, squeeze the glutes as you're trying to spread outwards with the sitting bones and hug inwards at the same time. Now, why does your yoga teacher tell you to do that? That turns on muscles when you do opposing forces, keeps the joints safe, and makes you work. Sweat dripping ready. Breathe in, forward fold, exhale, right foot back into that low lunge, heel toe the left foot forward. Lift the inner aspect of that right thigh a little bit, and then twist the left hand open. Whew. Left hand down. Spin that back foot flat, warrior two. Whew, just took Anne's class and my muscles are shaking. Should have done this before the class. Spread the fingers. Hug everything into the midline. Reverse. Can't remember if we did that on the other side, but that's okay. We're going to bring it down. Make some room. Take that Malasana squat. Boop. Grab that block if you need it. Bring the hands to the heart. Extend the right arm down. Lift the heart into the left hand. Then extend the left arm up. Back to center, hands at prayer. Extend the left arm down, wiggle that shoulder down. Right hand at the heart, look up, extend the right arm. Both hands down in front of you, gaze forward, lift the booty slightly, bend through the knees, take a little hop. Ooh, might lose my microphone. 2, 3, 4, power in the legs, one more. 5, bring the feet to touch. Forward fold, slowly roll up. Inhale to a standing position, reach high. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, high plank, low plank. Breathe out, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right leg up, slowly bring it around to tap the right tricep. Hold and breathe. Contract that hip, those ribs a little bit more, and then step. Woo, lunge position, lizard lunge. Drop the left knee, spin to your right. Extend the right arm behind you. Press through the left to lift the heart. Bring it back to that lizard lunge and lift the back toes, the back knee up. Very wide and low, extended side angle, so just flip the back foot flat, open up. This is a really great hip opener and engagement too. Find some stillness in the pose, Lynn. Ready, inhale all the way up to warrior two. Turn, goddess pose. All right. In order to open, you got to get blood flow into the hips. So that's why we're taking some of these powerful hip and quad stances, because it gets blood flow to the tissue. We don't want to open up cold tissue unless you're in a yin class. Hands to the thighs, roll one shoulder in, roll the other shoulder in. Take a look to your right, half moon. Remember, if you've got that block, this is a great place to put the hand. Strong left hip here. So put that hand on your hip. Feel the strength there. Then put your hand on your ribs, feel the strength there. Then maybe just lift up out of it a little bit and feel how that engages a tiny bit more. Your hips and your core are so closely related. Take a big full breath in. Another inhale. We're going to make ourselves go to chair pose, feet to touch. Sit down nice and low. Spread the toes, flare them. Press the heels out, activate. Sit low. Soften the shoulders. Smile, forward fold. Halfway lift, high plank, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Toes to touch. Left leg lifts. Comes around really high to that left tricep. Tap, beep, and then step. Lizard lunge, take the right knee down. Twist open, reach for the back of the room. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. And then bring this left hand down, inside of the left foot. Lift the back knee, spin it flat into that really deep extended side angle. Hugging the ribs to keep yourself from collapsing into the lumbar or the hip joint. Press through the four corners of each foot. See if you can even roll a little more to the edge of the right foot. Inhale yourself up. Warrior two stance. Pivot, goddess, now face the other side of the room. Check there. Get down nice and low. Heels in, toes out. Hands on the hip creases. Traction. Get yourself down a little more. Roll. Right shoulder. Left shoulder. T. Heels. Ho, ho, ho. Falling over, guys. Squeeze the belly. Soften the shoulders. Reset, warrior two, reverse. High plank, low plank. Up dog, down dog. Slowly bring the knees down to tabletop. Roll into the left hand, left knee, kind of shift that left foot out to the side. Open up into a half of like a side plank with a little funky variation here with the right leg lifted. Oh, I forgot our half moon, guys. That's okay. I'll incorporate it in there somewhere. This is the dangers of live teaching. Sometimes you forget a side. Usually I have really great students to remind me. We're doing the other side now. Just breathe. Then back to that tabletop. Inhale through cow. Exhale through cat. Inhale through cow. Exhale through cat. Inhale neutral. Exhale downward facing dog. Right leg comes up high. Reach. Step and open to warrior two. And then straighten. Bring the left hand to the left hip. Right hand, reach your ribs up out of that right hip. And then bring down to triangle. See if your peace fingers can come to your big toes. If not, then hand to ankle or shin. Extend the left arm out. And we're going to do something a little bit different. Just press through all four corners of the feet so you feel really stable here. And we're going to bend this back knee, not the front knee, the back knee. So bend, woo, and straighten. Don't fall. Bend, gaze down towards the big toes and straighten. And do that a couple of times. Just bend and straighten. We're just pumping a little bit of lubrication. Ooh, I don't like that word. Into the hip and the muscles. Good. All right, now pull yourself all the way up. Star pose, turn the toes in. Reach high, toes in, heels out. Hands to the hips, bow forward. There's a couple of words I just do not like to use in yoga classes, and lubrication and juicy are don't like those. Learning a little bit about me today, right? Lift up halfway and then pivot into a nice little low lunge facing the front of the mat. Pour yourself into standing split pose. Rotate that left hip down. Lift from the top of the thigh here so that you have a closed hip position, not an open hip position, which is dump some weight into this SI joint here. And we're not strengthening like we are in half moon. We're opening in standing splits. Strengthening the top of the thigh, yes. Pulling from the belly, yes. But we want our hips to be equal, yes. Now back down into chair pose, yes. All the yeses today, be a yes. Right, Melanie? Be a yes. Big full breath in, forward fold, halfway lift, lengthen the heart. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Lengthen the left leg behind you. Step and open warrior two. Now bring that left hand to the left hip, straighten the right leg, right hand, reach the left arm up high, and then down to triangle left side. Maybe peace fingers come to the big toes. Reach the right hand up, secure yourself through your feet. We're going to do that same little funky thing that we did on the other side. Bend the right knee and straighten. Bend and straighten. We can always keep a little softness here behind the knee of the straight leg. But we're not doing this little number here. We're doing this, pumping. All right. Now, since I missed it on the other side, we're going to crawl forward half moon. Just a little journey, a little detour on this side so that we can feel this hip. So put your right hand on this right hip, the lifted one, and then maybe lift yourself a little bit up off the ground, and you can feel the activation happen when this activation happens. Our bodies are connected. Cross body, front body, back body, it all works together. And then let's come back down. Warrior two, fall to the earth. And then pivot. We'll do this big wide straddle now facing the other side of the room. And then reach your hands out for your ankles. Hello. So we're going to do sort of the similar thing that we did in our triangle pose, but we're going to do it in straddle. So this is my left hand. Take your left hand and reach for your right ankle. You're going to feel a little shoulder opening. I do. My shoulders are tight. And we're going to bend the right knee. Keep the left one straight and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. You guys. Oh. Other side. Bend and straighten. All right, I'm not going to edit this because, teachers have these days too. I have a 6-month-old that's teething, and so I don't get a lot of sleep. But perfection is not my goal in any sort of class. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't really exist, and so chasing it just creates tension and gripping in your body, and that's the opposite goal of yoga. So for me to show you that I'm not perfect, well, that's what I want you to see. All right, standing splits, left foot down, right foot up. We just pivoted, and now we're here. And if you're working on some handstand hops, feel free to take the hands forward and take some little hops. Press. Hot damn. One more. Yes, forward fold. Good job, everybody. Heel toe out, back into our Malasana. If you'd like to try it, maybe you come to Garland's pose, which is just the opposite with our feet. Feet together. Split the knees. And then we would just wrap ourselves around. You can reach behind the ankles. Curl up in a little ball. Ooh. Nice little inner thigh opener. Hugging the ankles together. Pull the belly in. Let's unwrap. Bring the hands to the earth. Lift and lengthen. Heel toe the feet out. Let's give it another king chair. Feet are wide, so like about 2 fists, maybe a little bit wider. And then just shift to your right. Pick up the left, cross it over. Bring the hands to heart, and then elbows to shin. Pressing the shin towards the heart. Pressing the shin opposite into the elbows. Remember that opposing forces turn muscles on, keep joints safe. Peace fingers, big toe on the left side. As we stand up, straighten the left leg. If this is inaccessible, or if it feels better on your hamstring to do this, if you feel like your hamstring's just like about to snap doing this, please save that hamstring and bend the leg. You will not accomplish enlightenment by snapping a hamstring. Big full breath in, back into king chair. So release the left foot, sit it nice and low. Lean to the left, pick up the right, cross it, have a little sit-see. Elbows, shin into the elbows. You're going to feel that right glute start to open and awaken at the same time because we're using our opposing forces. Belly is engaged, lengthen the spine, not roundness in the spine, length. Fall. Boop, 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 come back. Left side's always the side that I got to focus a little bit more on. All right, peace fingers, big toes. Come up, extend. Reset. Always retry. Maybe. Left side for me, it's always been a little bit of a wanker. So there we go. Pull the right hip back. Breathe. Weebles, wobbles, we all fall down. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway, lift the heart, chaturanga. Let's take some twists now. Upward facing dog. Strong arms, downward facing dog. Right foot between the hands. Heel toe it out a little wider, railroad tracks with the feet. Up into Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. Pull that right hip back. Bring the hands to the heart. Now when we twist, be mindful that this left hip doesn't drop down. We want to keep it like as if it was in the same position, just a hinge. So strengthen the quad, twist. Any low back issues come up out of it into this pose. Heart towards the thumbs, ribs ring in towards one another. Good. Give it a warrior 2 on an inhale. Exhale, stay, reverse. High plank. Bringing the hands to the earth. Roll to this left hand side plank. Strengthen. Bend. Step. Boop. A lot of control there. All right, so let's do it again. Side plank. Practice, all right? Lift the hips. Lift the leg. Strength all the way down that leg from the hip. Bend, pull in through the ribs, step with control. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, pigeon pose. Stay on the hands, lift the heart. Length, drag the left hip forward, right hip back. Activation, pull the belly in, take it down. Keep dragging the left hip forward, right hip back to keep the hip points facing the earth. Flex the foot, pinky toe down into the ground. Breathe. Breathe a little space into the little tightness. Breathe into sensation. Again, if you are saying, I don't feel anything and I'm completely flat against the ground, get yourself up off the ground. Pull the muscles to the bones, because what's happening is the connective tissue is lax, and that's just how some people are made, and it's allowing you to just sink down, and the bones are spreading, and they're not spreading in a healthy way. So pull the muscle to the bone if you don't feel sensation, and allow the muscles to keep the bones in place. As you are trying to lengthen, you'll still get a stretch. The benefit of these stretches. All right, come back to the hands, downward facing dog. Ooh, if you want to take some circles with that right side, feel free. Right toes to the earth, left leg lifts, step. Railroad with our feet all the way up Anjaneyasana. Slide the left hip back, right hip forward. Bring the hands to the earth. Strengthen the right quad, twist, not allowing the right hip to dip. So this is what I mean by dipping, okay? Pull it up. That protects our low back, integrity of our hips, SI joint, makes our belly work. All right, breathe in. Pull the hands to the heart, heart to the hands. Open up, warrior two. Reverse. Bringing the right hand to the earth, side plank as we roll, lift, doing the same thing here. Left leg lifts, strengthen the hips, strengthen the core, you pull the knee to the belly, rotate and step. Okay, all right, let's try that one more time. Take it back, side plank, lift the hips, pull the belly in, left leg floats, crunch, rotate, step. Strengthen that right arm too, okay? All right, hands to the earth, heel toe the left foot out wide. Pigeon pose. Drag the left hip forward, opposite. Left hip back, right hip forward. Feel the length on the hands first. Pull the belly in. You can really feel the hip flexors lengthen without compromising the low back when the belly's engaged. And then walk yourself down. My left side's a little bit more tight. And again, let's drop the ideas of right or wrong in terms of our body. Tightness, openness is not right or wrong. The tight sides show us where we can breathe more, and then the more open sides show us where we can engage more. Take 5 more nourishing breaths here. Relax the face, soften the eyes. Walk yourself up to your hands a little bit at a time, and we're just going to gently roll to that left hip and swing the right leg around. And we're open up the legs to more of a V pose, straddle. So first take your hips and lift your glutes up and then slightly back to where you settle on those 2 bones in your butt. So the pubic bone is more down as opposed to lifted. So if our pubic bone is the front bone in our pelvis, if the pubic bone is lifted and tilted back, I'm already rounded in my back and I can't go forward. And then I'm just stretching my back out and I'm not opening my hips. So I just say, like, walk your hands forward until you roll onto those sitting bones, then roll the femur bones, your leg bones back, and stay in that neutral position. Lift the heart. Walk yourself forward. Again, flatter is not better. Dropping the idea of better and worse or right and wrong in our bodies. Bringing the hands back up. Let's take the right leg and bend it in half, keeping the left leg out. Drawing the left arm down towards the ankle. Right hand reaches up and over as you open through those side ribs, those muscles that attach into the hips. Your obliques are one of those, and they help us rotate. They help keep us in an upward position, and they help us open our hips when they are open as well. So it gives us a nice expansion in our hips when we open our sides. All right, let's switch sides. So right leg out, bend the left in, draw the right arm down. Just paying attention to, again, which side do you need to breathe more into? Come up to center. We're going to take cow face pose. So keep walking this left foot until it draws underneath your right thigh. Bend that right knee. Roll to the left butt cheek so that you can take the right leg around. Blah, 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 blah. It's a little awkward pose to get into, so if it takes you some time or if you can't quite get the shape, that's fine. So I want to show this from the side because one of the common things that I see in cow face pose are people doing this. And I would suggest that taking your feet closer to the top of the mat as opposed to your butt flesh is more beneficial. But keeping the activation, pressing through the pinky toes into the earth. And if this knee draws way up, that's fine. Focus more on pressing the hip point down. So lift the heart. If you like the Gomukhasana bind, the cow face bind, you may do that. That's right arm up and down the back, left arm around the small of the back and up the middle. We didn't do a lot with the shoulders today, so if your shoulders are tight and this is not beneficial for the shoulders, then just simply release, don't do the bind, and then walk yourself more forward. It's opening through the outer part of the hip, piriformis. Walk yourself back up. And since we're already halfway into this position, we're just going to bring the top foot, the right foot flat. If you want to extend the bottom leg out, you can, or you can keep it wrapped up. We're taking a twist towards your right side. Extend the left arm up. Hug the right knee into the chest, right hand behind you, and then lift, then twist. Twisting from the bra line, from the thoracic spine, hug the ribs around you, pull the belly in to protect the low back. We're not twisting from here, we're twisting from up here. Back to center. Unwind the legs. I like to bring the feet flat to help the class set up for this, since the right leg is going to go boop, 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 boop. All right, and we sit on the right butt cheek. It's a good way to set up for this. And then walk the left leg on top this time. And then start to sit this left hip more down and walk the feet more towards the top of the mat. Flare those toes into the ground. Again, if you'd like to bind, then you can find Gomukhasana bind behind your back. If that's not healthy for your shoulders, on this side, it really does not feel good for me, so I'm not going to do it. Lift the heart up, hinge yourself forward. Again, if there's lots of space here, that's okay. Integrity in the joints is number one in any of our poses. So if you're lifted way far off the ground, you might need to walk yourself more in towards the middle. You may just take a slight hinge, and you could really feel that on the outside of the left hip. We're not going for perfection. We're going for the goal of the pose, which is just a nice little stretch in the outer part of our left hip. A double pigeon is also a good option here, as opposed to this one. I'll show that one next, so that if you want to pause and do that one instead. Double pigeon is just more of a stacked position with the shins. Okay, so let's take our twist on this side. Left leg is over our right. The right leg can be straight out or bent. Left knee is facing the ceiling now. Right arm extends. Are we all there? Okay, twist. Now lift and then twist. Navel is going to spiral towards the side. And bring it back to center. Undo the legs. Let's give a little. It's good for the fascia. Trust me. All right, roll. Last pose, hero's pose. You can take this one leg at a time. Just sit your butt between your heels. We're going to stretch out the front thighs. If this is too much on the knees, remember that block? Sit on that block, and that's going to take some of the pressure, some of the angle, that deep, deep angle out of the knees, or you can take one leg out, one leg bent. Otherwise, sit your little booty between your heels. And then you can walk it back just to where you feel, again, that sensation in the top part of the thighs. And if you don't feel sensation, it's not advised that you go completely flat. If you do not engage in a pose and you can just lie down, or putting some pressure into some joint tissues that don't need to be stretched further past their capacity. I'm just coming to my elbows because after there's a little bit of pinching there in the lumbar SI joint as I get stronger in the front half of my body, because that front half and back half work together. So right here is good enough for me. Walk myself back up. Everybody else, walk yourself up, bringing yourself to the hands to lift. Swing around to the butt. Lie down on the back. Savasana. Soften the face, the arms, the hands, the feet. And please feel free to stay there as long as you'd like. 5 minutes gives you lots of benefits, and I would say that skipping Shavasana does take some of the benefits out of our practice. So be sure to rest. There's always a balance in life between working hard, playing hard, and resting hard. Namaste.